to set up this camera for kids and pets. Basically with kids and pets it's very simple. They don't stop for you to take the picture. So you need to be able to focus very, very quickly or set the camera to manual focus and have a fast enough shutter speed where you're going to be able to capture the image without it being blurry. So one thing you can do is automate the camera for this profile. So just turn your mode dial to SCN. SCN stands for scene, and in this scene mode you can access kids and pets. Just use your dial back here to turn this until you get to what looks like kids and pets. There we go. With the kids and pets scene mode, everything is automated. My flash is turned to automatic, my ISO is automatic, and my white balance is automatic. I have hardly any control, and even my focusing square is gone, so basically I just have to press the shutter button halfway and hope the camera finds a focus. It found a focus right there, and then go ahead and press the shutter button the rest of the way. In this case, what happened was my ISO was set to 100, and my shutter speed is at 1/60th of a second. Well, 1/60th of a second may not be fast enough to capture moving targets. So they may still come out a little bit blurry. So what I would recommend is, instead of using this mode, go back to your P. This is the program mode, and this does give us control over ISO and things like that. Want to make sure, first of all, that your white balance is set accordingly. If you're outdoors, go ahead and set that to daylight or cloudy. Press the shortcut button to access the white balance. This, again, we set this up in the Getting Started guide to the shortcut button so I can quickly access my white balance. And I'll use my dial to set the proper white balance. In my case, I'm going to go with daylight because I am assuming we're outdoors. Go ahead and press set. Now, my flash is currently turned off, but you may want to use this. It will not hurt the image. You may not be able to take as many pictures very quickly, but it may bring out the subject a little bit better. So I'll just press the flash button right here to access the different flash options and turn that to on. This way it's going to fill in shadows. Again, I'm assuming we're outdoors, and it'll bring out the person a little bit better in the picture. So finally, the ISO. In order to increase the shutter speed, we may need to increase the ISO. So the way you test this is press the shutter button halfway. You don't have to focus on the subject or anything like that. You just want to see what your shutter speed is at. Currently, with the amount of light we've got going, I'm at 1/200th of a second, which should be fast enough to stop the action. If this was not fast enough, if this was 1/60th of a second, as we saw before, I would consider increasing the ISO to improve that. So I would just turn the ISO dial. You can turn that and look in the back and see what I'm set to. Turn that up to 200, press the shutter button again, and you can see now I'm at 1/500th of a second. So this is plenty fast. I certainly don't need any more than that. And 200 will still get me adequate image quality. It will be a little bit more grainy than 80, but I can deal with that. Finally, after you've got that set up, what you may want to do is set up your manual focus. Because you're trying to focus on a moving target, and the camera, while this camera does focus pretty quickly, it may not be fast enough. So if you can't seem to lock focus on your subject because it is moving around all the time, go ahead and press the MF button right here, up navigation button, and this gets you into the manual focus mode, and you can see these little green arrows. This indicates you can use this dial to change this focus. So what I would do, even though I do have this manual focus point zoom turned on right now in my main menu, this helps to some degree, but I just estimate at what distance the subject is from the camera. So I'll go up to about 2.5 meters. I can also change this in the setup menu to feet and inches as opposed to meters and centimeters if you're more comfortable with that, but this is the default. So I'm at 2.5 meters, and basically I just position myself about 2.5 meters away from the subject, and then go ahead and press the shutter button halfway. Because my focusing is locked at 2.5 meters, Once I am ready to take the picture, I can go ahead and press the shutter button the rest of the way, after I've composed, of course, and the picture is taken instantly. To find out much more about digital photography and your digital camera, go to lbguides.com.